Culture Days at Orchard are all about bringing history to life. Our 4th grade students study Indiana history, and for 3 days out of the year, we bring students out into the woods, into the cabin, to really experience what it was like to live as part of various cultures during the 17 and 1800s. One of our stations is the European settlers. We have one that's French voyageurs, and one that's the Miamia Native American group. And at each of those stations, they experience 5 different cultural universals. The idea is that students get the chance to not only experience what life was like during the 17 and 1800s, but also be able to compare across those 3 different cultures and really understand what the similarities and differences are between them. They get these hands-on experiences so that learning about history isn't just about dates and facts, but it's more about the emotional experience of what life would have been like and how you might have solved problems, or what the challenges would have been, or what are the sorts of things that you would have found joy in. As part of Culture Days, students are studying 5 different cultural universals, including food, shelter, clothing, recreation, and craft. So, as part of studying the shelter of early settlers, students might be using a crosscut saw and seeing what it was like to cut down an entire tree using a giant saw. At the Miamia station, students are making cordage out of stinging nettle that they've harvested from the orchard woods. And then they would use that cordage to maybe raise their wikiyami, or to weave things like bed mats that they might use inside of their wikiyami. And then at the Voyageur station, students are messing around with a Voyageur canoe. They're rolling that over and hanging a waxed canvas tarp over it as the shelter of the Voyageurs. For recreation, at each of the stations, students are playing different games specific to those cultures and their time period. So at the Voyageur station, students are playing a game called Cat and Mouse, where they try to use a rope and try and knock their opponent off of a log. At the Miamia station, they're playing a gambling game, in English called the moccasin game, where you would hide an object under one moccasin or moccasina, and your opponent would have to try and figure out which pot holder or moccasin that object was under. And then at the European settler station, students are playing games like hoop toss and having sack races and hoop roll, similar to what you might see at Conner Prairie. Our students are really fortunate that we have all the resources that we do available for them to take this time out of the classroom and get their hands dirty. We have all of these spaces set up with fire pits so they can cook their own meals. We have a full-size cabin for them to really see what settler life might have been like. And we have the flexibility and the teacher support to be able to spend an entire 3 days outdoors experiencing history rather than just reading about it in a